Hello and welcome to the legacy of Disney World closing in 2 minutes. Let's get started. Walt Disney World is the flagship resort of the Walt Disney theme park brand. The entire resort saw 54 million visitors in 2018, with the iconic Magic Kingdom Park alone seeing just under 21 million visitors in 2018. With all those visitors coming and going, any day the resort closes means a huge amount of lost revenue for the company, but that has actually happened before. Let's find out when. Amazingly, Walt Disney World went its first 28 years without closing, before doing so for the first time in 1999 when Hurricane Floyd came knocking on the door. All 4 theme parks and the 2 water parks closed the day the storm hit, and were expected to remain closed the following day, but the unexpected turn of Hurricane Floyd allowed the parks to reopen early. The next closure took place almost 2 years to the day that Floyd hit, on September 11, 2001. The terror attacks brought the world to a standstill, and the resorts closed and followed. Guests were issued complimentary tickets and forced to leave the parks in case Disney World was being targeted for another attack. The parks reopened the next day with beefed-up security, much of which still remains there today. The next round of closures came in 2004, when the resorts closed 3 times in that 1 year for Hurricanes Charlie, Francis, and Jeanne. All the parks at the resort closed for each of these storms, and the reopenings were staggered depending on damage or other conditions. During these storms, only essential personnel were allowed to be at the resorts and theme parks, with other cast members being told to stay home for their safety. The next storm to close Walt Disney World wouldn't happen until 12 years later when Hurricane Matthew came to town. The parks were closed at 5 p.m. the day before the storm was to hit, and they remained closed the next day. In 2018, Irma forced the resort to close for 2 days, with guests being forced to stay in their rooms if they were staying on property. Ironically enough, this closure overlapped with the 17th anniversary of when the resort closed on 9/11. Will there be closure due to the spread of coronavirus? It's truly hard to say, but with the resorts in Japan and China being shut down for weeks due to the fears of spreading the illness, it may only be a matter of time until Walt Disney World Resort in Florida shuts down for what could be the longest time in its history. This has been the legacy of Disney World closures in around 2 minutes.